Peace and blessings. Welcome to my channel. My name is Taj Utsi, and I am a certified financial coach. I'm also the founder of True Financial Coaching, where our mission here is to help you to invest in yourself. And the way we do that is by educating you, enlightening you, and equipping you with the financial literacy that is needed in order to get off the rat wheel. What is the rat wheel? Well, the rat wheel is one is constantly financing objects that go down in value for them, but up in value for the banks. The only way to stop powering the rat wheel is to stop financing objects that go down in value. Because again, the wheel is only moved or powered as long as the rat is running. So when one stops financing these depreciating objects, then they stop powering the rat wheel. And once they stop powering the rat wheel and they get off out the rat race, then they can begin to build wealth for themselves and then be able to become free to do what they want when they want instead of having to do what they don't want. So today's video is the final installment of the series on Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. And in Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps, he outlines his plan to help people, as he says, live like no one else now so they can live and give like no one else later. So in this video, we'll be looking at Dave Ramsey's 7th baby step. And also I'm going to give my final thoughts on his entire system, his entire plan. So in Dave Ramsey's 7th baby step, this is where one begins to build wealth and give generously, as he says. They begin to build wealth and work their way to becoming financially free, becoming a millionaire, as he states, and also being able to give freely, give generously. That's basically what he concludes with. You know, after everything, 1 through 6, his final step is live and give like no one else. So it's pretty simple. Yeah, I get it. You know, I thought it would be a little bit more at the end for his 7th baby step after everything. But as he often says, there's not a lot you can do with money, but spend it, give it, you know, and be generous to others. So, you know, I expect a little bit more out of that 7th baby step, but I get it. You know, a lot of the hard work was done at the early stages of the plan, and then finally you get to the 7th baby step. Just live and give like no one else. So overall, you know, I think Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps, his plan, is a pretty good plan. It's a pretty good plan. You know, I've worked it. I'm still in the process of working the 7 baby steps, but I think it's a, you know, really good plan to have, to implement, especially if you don't really have too much knowledge of personal finances. It's called 7 baby steps for a reason. You know, baby steps, you take your time slowly, and also it's for beginners. And that's the one thing about Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps that I do like, that again, the majority of people in America are financially illiterate because it's not taught in schools. Parents aren't teaching children because they don't know. The parents haven't been taught because their parents didn't know. Their parents haven't been taught because their parents didn't know. So this is a good program for individuals, especially those that have very limited knowledge in the area of personal finances. With his 7 baby steps, there's a lot that I agree with, but one thing that I disagree with is that it's not, he has it where his plan is a one size fits all. And with personal finances, it's just that, it's personal. So I don't believe that you can have a plan, a one size fits all plan for every individual. However, again, his plan is very successful for those that have stuck with it. He's helped millions of people. And again, for someone that's very limited in knowledge of personal finances, this is a good beginning. Like for myself, I have very little knowledge of personal finances until I came across Mr. Ramsey. And as I began learning his system and learning what he teaches, his principles about personal finances, I became more knowledgeable. And then, just like with anything in school, you start off in kindergarten, then you get knowledge, then you go to first grade, gain more knowledge, go to second grade, and you continue to progress. The knowledge that you have in 12th grade is far more advanced than the knowledge that you had in kindergarten. And that's how it is with Dave Ramsey's plan. I think, again, for individuals that's just starting off, this is great. But then as you progress and you gain more knowledge, you may find other strategies and other methods to build wealth that may be contrary to Dave Ramsey's principles and his steps. But again, I do think that Dave Ramsey's plan is very, very simple and it's doable. It's doable. But as I said, it shouldn't be like a one size fits all. And that's one thing that I kind of disagree with Dave Ramsey's, his plan of action. So just also with, for example, his step one is to save $1,000, which is good. It really is. It's good, particularly if one has never been able to save any money at all. I think saving that $1,000 is a very good start, and it is a baby emergency fund, as he said, and as I mentioned in previous videos. However, I think depending upon a person's situation, their living conditions, their lifestyle, as far as number of children they have, if they're single or not single, things of that nature, I think $1,000 may not be enough depending upon the situation, because all it takes is one mishap and that $1,000 is gone. So for example, when I started his plan, I saved $1,000, and as soon as it didn't take me long to save $1,000, but as soon as I saved that $1,000, I had an emergency, something really that needed attention to, it had to get taken care of, and that emergency wiped out that whole $1,000. But thankfully, again, I was able to just get that $1,000 back up and running, and it didn't take me long to save it up again. However, everybody may not be as fortunate as that, and for some that may save that $1,000 as a starting emergency fund, one mishap can knock it out, and then they get discouraged where they don't want to be building it up again. So what I would suggest, again, depending upon the situation, is save at least 1 month of expenses or 1 month of your paycheck, depending upon your family size, depending upon your situation, your living situation. If you're staying at home with parents and you're not paying rent, then $1,000 is good if you're single. But if you're a family, you might want to save more than $1,000. But again, this is just my thoughts about what his baby step one is as far as saving $1,000. Again, it's a good plan. You got to start somewhere, but I don't think that this plan should be a one size fits all. It should be on an individual basis, and you can only know that when you sit down with someone and listen to them and see, what their living situation is. So baby step number one, $1,000 is a good start depending upon your situation, but it should vary, in my opinion, from individual cases. Baby step number two was, again, to pay down your debt using the debt snowball, which is I'm 100% for. I think that is the best way to eliminate debt. It's the best way to eliminate debt is because it gives that individuals those quick wins, and it helps them psychologically. because paying down debt is more than just being physically in debt, but it's a lot of psychological. And if one can change the mindset and get those quick wins, then it motivates them to attack the other debts, using that method. But the debt snowball is 100%, in my opinion, the best way to attack the debt. Some would disagree because they say, well, the math, the numbers, show that the debt avalanche is better. When the debt avalanche, again, is when you put your debts in order based upon the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate, and you pay that down gradually. And mathematically, again, the numbers, you will pay less in interest if you do it that way. But interest is not the problem. No, interest is not the problem. The debt is the problem. The debt is the problem. So if you knock out the debt, then you eliminate the interest. I understand, people want to save money on interest. However, if you have someone that's been, poor at managing their finances and just piled up with debt, they need those quick wins for that psychological motivational boost. So I'm a full proponent of the debt snowball, what Mr. Ramsey suggests or advises and teaches, that put your debts in order from smallest debt to the largest debt, regardless of the interest rates. And then you just knock out the smallest. Any extra money that you have, put all that towards that smallest debt. Once you pay all that off, then while you're paying off that smallest debt, you make minimum payments on the other debts. Once you pay that first smallest debt off, then you take all that money and throw it on to that second debt, plus the what you was already paying in the minimum, until the debts is already wiped out. And again, from personal experience, it has worked for me. When I first came across Dave Ramsey, I had 9 debts, and I think I did not think I knocked out like the first 3 debts in like a month, and I felt so good. I'm telling you, it just makes you want to go on, and then you just knock them all out, and it works. It works. So I'm in full agreement with baby step number 2. Baby step number 3, I'm definitely in agreement with that also, having that 3 to 6 month emergency fund, build that up, knock that out. As far as saving up the money, when I say knock it out, it means saving up the money so you can move on to the next step. But, it's important that you have an emergency fund. It's very important because life happens, and there are approximately 6 out of 10 Americans can't even cover a $400 emergency. So that says a lot. People are living paycheck to paycheck. Some people run out of money before the month is up. So having that emergency fund is 3 to 6 months is definitely important. So I'm full agreement with that. His baby step number 4, as far as saving for retirement, I agree with it. 100%. He said you put 15% of your income into retirement accounts, and you don't touch it. You just continuously do that. You do that until you decide you retire. Because again, retirement is not an age. You don't have to work 40 years to retire and then enjoy life. You don't have to do that. If you have a plan for your money, have a plan for yourself, you can, work 10, 20 years, if that. That's up to you. But you have to have a plan. And Mr. Ramsey, he has a good plan to help people get to that point of financial independence, financial freedom, or as he says, financial peace. But, open up your retirement accounts, get into, the Roths, IRAs, and traditional IRAs. If you have a 401k match on your job, get into that. These are vehicles that one should have in order to prepare for the future. You know, your future self will thank you for what you're doing now. And a lot of people, they don't plan for retirement. Because they look at retirement as some far off object. You know, they think, well, I'm still young. I got time to think about that. No, your time to think about it is now, because what you do in the present will determine what your future will look like. So it's important to, you know, have these retirement accounts and invest in yourself. But the first step in doing that is by getting out of debt before you can do all these other things. A lot of people want to invest while while having mounds of debt. That's impossible. There's no way you can do that. You can't invest in something outside of yourself before you invest in yourself. So the way, again, that we help you invest in yourself, create you a plan to get out of debt, and then you can invest in other vehicles outside of yourself. So baby step number 4, as far as putting 15% into retirement accounts, agree with it 100%. However, I do disagree with Mr. Ramsey in saying that, you shouldn't use student loans at all. If it's possible, yes, you don't want to use student loans, but I am not against student loans. I just don't believe that you should be paying back student loans for the length of your career in which you went to school for. Your student loans should not be held for 20, 25 years, where you done went through a whole career and you're about to retire and you still have student loans. You don't have children, you don't have grandchildren, and those student loans are still around. That's just ridiculous. So your student loans shouldn't be older than your children. Your student loans shouldn't be your oldest debt when you went to school in the 2010 and here's 2024 and you still have student loans, or you graduated high school or college in 1998 and you still have student loans in 2024. That's just ridiculous. However, it's common, right? It is common, but that doesn't mean because a thing is common that it's normal. So it is common that you have many Americans with student loans, and the student loan debt in America is absurd. It's astronomical, but it's not normal. And that's the problem with a lot of people. A lot of people believe that debt is a part of life, and debt is not normal. It's common, but it's not normal. You don't have to carry debt with you or have debt until you die. That's you're gonna die a slave. You die a slave. Why? Because you have to work to pay off that debt. So, but if your student loan debt is your oldest debt, that's just ridiculous. So that's what I'm saying. I agree with the fact that with student loans, you should, if you can, don't take them. But if you have to, paying back the student loans should be a big priority in doing. Should be a high priority in doing. And my rule of thumb, is that if you have to take a student loan, if you go to school for 4 years, it should take you 4 years to pay back that student loan. Because if not, you're going to just carry it along with you. It's going to carry along with you. So that's why I said I agree and I disagree with that step of Mr. Ramsey. However, now with his next baby step number 6, I'm in full agreement with it. Pay off that mortgage early. Pay it off early. Because when you pay off your mortgage early, for most people, the mortgage payment is their largest expense. And if you can knock out that mortgage payment, then you can take that largest expense and then begin to build wealth even faster. You can build wealth faster because now that's a payment that you don't have. Your final payment of debt that you don't have. And a mortgage is debt. It may not be consumer debt as many may call it, but it's still debt. So with the mortgage, you want to knock that out as fast as you can. Many people think that, well, why pay off my mortgage when I can write it off on my taxes, or the interest rate is so low that I can just carry it. That's talking like somebody that's wants to stay in prison. Here's your last shackle is on you, and you saying why do I want to take this last why do I want to take this last shackle off me? That's not it is common, but it's not normal. Again, it's common, but it's not normal. So if you can, once you get to that step in the program, the plan, pay it off. And I agree 100% with that, because now that frees up money for you to begin to build wealth. And then again, lastly, step 7, live and give like no one else. I'm kind of, up in there. I do believe in giving, yeah. But I just thought it would be a little bit more pizzazz at the end of this plan, But again, I get it. Now you're free. You're completely debt free. You have the retirement accounts set up. If you have children, you invested in them with their savings account, the colleges, educational accounts, and now you can live and give like no one else. Where now, at this stage, you're working because you want to, not because you have to. You're working because you want to, not because you have to. Because most people work in order to pay off that debt, keep that rat wheel going. And with debt is a form of bondage. It is a form of bondage. The scriptures teach us in the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 7, that the borrower is servant to the lender. The borrower is servant to the lender. So when one finances objects, they're the borrower, and the bank is the lender. And that individual that's financing these objects is a servant, an indentured servant unto the bank. Because however long the term is of those that financing, that whatever object you're financing, that's how long you're a servant. Because now, again, that debt ties you to your job, ties you to a job that you may not even want to work at. Because why? You have to pay back that debt. So overall, I believe Mr. Ramsey's plan is an excellent plan. Again, I just don't believe it's a one size fits all, but it's a good start, especially for individuals that feel hopeless and just don't have any financial peace. So again, our mission here at True Financial is to help you invest in yourself. Schedule your consultation at truefincoaching.com, and we can get you on that journey. I'd like to thank everyone that have subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate you subscribing and taking time out to watch my videos. I hope they have been informative and educational to you, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm educating you. I'm not an entertainer. I'm an educator, and I believe that the more one knows, the more one is knowledgeable of, the better they can do. And as I said before, unfortunately, the public school systems didn't teach this information. And in my humble opinion, I think it was by design. I think it's by design. So, if you're ready to invest in yourself, if you're ready to get off that rat wheel, schedule your consultation at truefincoaching.com. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, remember to share. Also, leave a comment. Thank you for those individuals that have commented. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you disagree with me, fine. That's all right. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But again, our objective is to help you invest in yourself. One's mindset is the first thing that must change before they can change their life. Thank you for listening. Peace and blessings be upon you.